Hey, good morning. Yes, it is. Up and out of sunshine. It's Monday. That's right. Time to do the daily grind or the weekly grind, but we're doing it, right? All right, so hopefully you guys had a good long weekend or a long week if you took vacation time. And now you're ready to get right back to work because you have to rest up from your vacation, right? That's what I hear a lot of people doing. I was that way when I was younger and we were just going everywhere with the kids. I could not wait to get home just to rest or even to go back to work felt like a reprieve, all right? All right, so that's what we're going to talk about today is work and some of the good and bads of being too good or not good enough. This ought to get us going. All right, so we'll catch you. Hang tight. Yeah, it's 20 after 4. Alrighty, so welcome back. My name is Eric, if you didn't already know it, and this is the weekday, Monday through Friday. And it's available on podcasts as well. Today we're going to talk about, work, and not so much work ethics. It's just how the real world works. How does it real? Here's what I've seen in the past. That, I've seen this with employees, and it happens over and over and over again. You get an employee that's doing an exceptional job at a certain part of the trade, all right? And instead of telling him he's doing a fantastic job and paying him a little bit more, you just keep him there because his output is good. Nobody else wants a position, or he can't afford to put a newbie in there. Now, is that being fair to everybody? No. No. Now, it's definitely not fair to the one that is being left in that position. And let's take a car dealership, all right? Repair shop. Doing detail work and then moving up to doing tires and inspections, tire rotation inspections. See, that's a normal climb. And then they put you on, the line when a mechanic retires or leaves, and you were already a mechanic. It's just you had to work these steps, right? But they find that being on the line that does the tires, because tires are a big part of a dealership, and I'm just picking this out as one example. And you're phenomenal at doing tires. And they're unwilling to move you up to the next mechanic slot because they never had a tire guy like you. You're doing inspections, you're doing, tire swaps and this and that. Tire rotations. But the main reason they're keeping you there is how fast and how good you are at what you do and how good you become. And it does. That's why I kind of scratch my head, when entry level tier 2 is basically running a tire changer. And I've heard, any idiot can do that. Well, explain to me how one of my rims, because I have specialty rims on my truck, on my last Chevy, got damaged all to hell. It's because they had a guy that didn't have the experience, and it didn't matter on the regular rims, on the steel ones, but on the aluminum ones that were offset, yeah, he popped the whole piece right out of the side of it, around the rim. Junk. And I told him, I said, just because they say, well, we're sorry this happened, sir. And that was it. It wasn't, we're going to replace your rim. No. Probably if they were going to make that kid eat it. So I just said, don't worry about it. And I went back to my guy. It's actually a gal that I buy all my tires and rims off from. And I explained the situation to her. And she's like, here, let me get you another rim. She gave me a little bit of a discount on it. Told her you don't have to. She said, yeah, somebody's got to give you a break. And because I bought and my son buys all his tires, Claude buys all his tires. It's a single mom, like 5 kids. And she has a pretty good business. And she works hard. But she sells them out of a great big tent in her yard. And she can get whatever you want within a week. But now she's got a pretty good inventory. But how is that fair to the guy that is fabulous? That is knocking it out? Doing twice the work that you've ever seen as a boss, as an owner. And you're quietly telling the supervisors, your service manager, leave him there. We have never had someone that good. Leave them there. That way it's not going to cost us money. It's actually saving us money. It's making us money with him there. Well, that's all fine and good. Until the employee starts feeling like, why am I not moving up? I came here to be a mechanic. And I just wanted to get through this as fast as I could. And now they're watching people that have come after them move up. That's even worse. See, I've seen guys that will go to, let's say, a Ford dealership and apply to the Ford dealership as a mechanic. And then they're explaining to them, that, well, we start you off with detailing and then, and a lot of these guys bust their hump to get through it. Or are so terrible at it that they get moved up. So what ends up happening with that guy or gal is they start feeling like they're not being treated well. They're not being respected. And what's the normal thing when an employee starts feeling like they're not appreciated? They start looking elsewhere. That's right. And I've seen really good mechanics that finally made the decision, because they'd always wanted to have their own shop, finally get that nudge of not being appreciated to step out and do it and compete with the ones that they worked for. So did that dealership win? No. The very least that dealership should have done, that service manager and even the owner, come on, is if you recognize someone that's doing stellar work and it's day in, day out the grind, you need to let them know. And you need to show them your appreciation. If it's going to be, but we don't want to move him off the tires and rims and rotation and inspection. He's just the best we've ever seen. You need to be talking to him about that and say, what can we do that will keep you happy and keep us happy and keep our customer happy? Go from there. Some will say, fine, just throw me a few extra bucks and I'll stay. Some will say, I came to be a mechanic. I am a mechanic. I'm not a tire guy. I may be your best tire guy because I'm trying to show you and move through this position as fast as possible. If you don't have a mechanic slot open for me, I've got to look elsewhere. And I've seen really good mechanics be that blunt. Again, you run the risk of losing probably your best employee ever. And I've seen where once an employee doesn't feel appreciated, they do just enough to get by. They drop. And even their drop back to their just doing enough to slide under the wire, they're still doing more than what any other tire guy had done. But they're not doing that stellar work and they're not making that money for that company. Why should they? Well, you got to have, if you're going to do it, you got to do it 100%. I agree. I never was much of one just to try to do just enough to get by. I always was like that overachiever. But so you run that risk too of having a unhappy employee that was doing stellar work for you. And you just never took the time to let them know. Had they known you thought that highly of them, they may have kept their stellar work going. Or they may have stayed with you instead of looking elsewhere. Now, I work for a company that it went the other direction. What do you mean the other direction? I mean, they thought, wow, here's a great idea at one of our HR meetings. Let's take all of our top producers, the ones that are putting out production, and make them bosses. That went over as about as good as a fart in a whirlwind. And the problem here's problem one. Problem one was they tried taking all of us off from production that were getting the tonnage out. Because we were getting paid bonus on tonnage. Okay? So you take 10 guys out of the mix, your top producing guys, and you make them foremans. Let me tell you something. I have seen a lot of top producing guys that I would never have as a foreman. Never. And never. They're just ball busters. They expect that the whole team should work hard. And that's not how it works if you're a foreman. You have to treat each employee a little different. There's a different way to come at them. But somebody thought that upstairs that was going to be a fabulous idea. And it pissed off a lot of the new foremans that were top producers because the following month the bonus had dropped considerably. And they're like, look, put us back into production. So then they decided, well, let's go with a working foreman. That ain't going to work either. Because that guy can't be working and then babysitting and keeping other people working. Because if he can't keep working at what he normally does for production, then production is going to suffer, or what his employees are going to do or are doing will suffer. And I've seen it where good employees, decent employees, would actually sit down and watch the working foreman bust their ass, because it's like, dude, go for it. You don't want to take time for us? Go for it. Because I see them where they're just like the working foreman, get pissed and just say, screw it, I'll do it myself. You heard it. Screw it, I'll do it myself. I hear a lot of parents say that, and that's why their kids need to go swift kick in the ass and boundaries and all that good stuff. But that's what happens with employees, is they figured out how to manipulate that working foreman and doing all the work, and then they're just going to sit back and watch you. Well, I'm going to start wrapping this up, but I think most of you guys, because it's an older audience, have seen this numerous times, and it may have happened to you in the past, of where you didn't feel like you were appreciated. And I know I've been in that position a couple times. And I don't think it's because I was doing stellar work. It was just, I was doing good enough that, I thought somebody should have appreciated what I was doing. And the other thing, when I was a foreman and I had an employee, and I learned this from the CEO of that company, and it was a large company, and it employed over 200 people, was, if you feel you're doing exceptional work and you're not being appreciated, the other option you have is to go to your boss or to personnel, HR, and explain to them that you'd like to have a raise. And there are reasons that you should never give when it comes to believing you should receive a raise. And we talked about that person that is the tire guy, let's call him. But he could be anybody and anywhere, whether he's a new mechanic doing stellar work or what have you. Is you never, where he watched guys that come behind him move ahead where he didn't move, right? Is you never go in and try to state your case on why you should get paid because a certain amount, because Joe Blow gets paid that, or Joe Blow makes more than I do, or it should never ever be on that. Don't ever go into, that, what do I call it? See, we used to have where they pull you in once a year and they give you a job performance and they go over it with you, the employee. Did tons of them. Where you lay out where you're good and where you need improving. Because everybody needs improving. I don't care how good you are, there's still room for improvement. And I can tell you from experience, the bosses that have to do those job performance, they have to find something or make something up because they know, and their bosses know, nobody is perfect. But during that job performance, that's also an exceptional good time to bring up. Well, I'm doing this and this and this and this. And I'm going above my job by doing this, 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 and this that they may not see that you're doing. And then you get that, okay, I see why you feel you should get more money, and I do too. If you're doing all these extras, I didn't know. I didn't know as a foreman. I didn't know as an HR that you were taking on these jobs as well. You have to let them know why you should get a raise based on what you're doing, how you're doing, and the extras that you're giving them. That should be the only reason when you go to ask for a raise. It's not because everybody else got a raise. It's not because Joe Blow got a raise. It's not because somebody else, is making more money than you are. And that was one of the things, and that's what you get for a non-union shop, is everybody was told, don't tell each other what you're making. And there was no set amount for coming in as general utility on the surface. There was no set amount for general utility underground. Everybody got paid differently, and some got paid because they were better interviewers. They knew how to impress, or they demanded more up front. So on that note, you guys have a good Monday, and we'll catch you here bright and early tomorrow morning. I got some hay knocked down, so just as soon as the sun comes up, this puppy's raking and baling. All right, guys.